Hello, everyone. I'm Mitch Free. I am lifelong manufacturer. I have been in machining, software, technology, internet space, and if there's anything I'm passionate about, it's certainly American manufacturing. I was honored to be asked to be a creator influencer for IMTS Plus and to join them at the Creators Lounge, where we're going to help tell the stories of very interesting people and technologies in the industry. So I wanted to take this moment to get to know some of my fellow creators who I have just met and learn a little bit about them and the angles of which they approach creation and storytelling, and a little bit about their passions for manufacturing. So I'd like to start that off with Scott McKenzie. And Scott, if you could tell us a little bit about your angle that you like to talk about in your show and what led you there.
Yeah, I started podcasting as a result of sort of being able to open doors into other companies. I had an industrial maintenance company, and nobody wanted to talk about maintenance. And so I was buzzing on back from a client, and I was listening to a podcast, and for whatever reason, I said, hey, I can do that. And so I just ventured into it. And instead of me going to a company and say, hi, I'm Scott McKenzie, we do industrial maintenance, and getting the door shut in front of you because nobody wants to talk about maintenance. And I guarantee you don't want to talk about maintenance, right, Mitch? And hey, I hear you have an outage, and I think the listeners of Industrial Talk would like to hear what you have to say. Then they would say, yeah, okay, that'd be great. And then you start to create that relationship because you're asking them questions about what is important to them. My angle has always been the same. It is a celebration of these individuals. I don't care what they're doing. All I know is they're making my life better. And those stories truly need to be amplified and bringing out that human. And that's sort of the angle that I take. And I got to tell you, Mitch, the reality is that there are a lot of great people out there. And I'm telling you right now, 100% are great. Everybody that I've spoken to have been just spectacular professionals, and every single one has a big heart to solve problems and do whatever is necessary to, make the organization better. And it is just bar none. That's what everybody does. But we never hear about that. So that's the reality of it.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Your passion clearly comes through. So you're doing something that you love clearly, and had a unique background preparing you to do it. So.
Yeah, it was. Let's put it this way. I never thought that I would be doing this.
Yeah. I think I can kind of say the same. Yeah.
Yeah, but it works because you can talk to anybody and they have that story. And it is, and especially in manufacturing, there's just so much change, positive change, not negative change, positive change that's taking place. And you just have to be in the game. You have to be talking about it because companies are constantly sort of gravitating around that water cooler, talking about new use cases for whatever it might be. And if you're not there, you won't hear it.
Yeah,
and then if you're not there, you don't know who to connect with. You just don't.
That's it. Well, let me go on around the horn here to get some other great ones. So Charli Matthews. So tell us about you. What's your angle? Like, what's your story?
Yeah. What a question. What's my story? Let me figure out which one I want to tell you. But basically, with the podcasting aspect, empowering industry podcast and how that came to be it's just that. It's telling stories. I love to dig in and kind of get somebody to answer the question that's not on the paper, the one that you send out. You send them 5 questions to think about, and then they start talking. And then you're like, hey, I want to know more about that. And that's really where the magic is. That's what I like to share and really highlight people that are doing amazing things. I've been in the pump industry almost 20 years now. And my job, as I started, was an advertising salesperson. And it was about building relationships. And I loved walking up to a trade show booth and talking to somebody who was a little uneasy at first. And then ask them about their product or their business, and they come alive and really tell that story. So for the podcast, I absolutely do that every week. And then we also have Empowering Women podcast, and I'm not the host of that. I have Shannon Bumgarner, who's the host there, but I absolutely would take it over in a second. She just does such a great job. So she'll do it as long as she wants, but it's definitely something I'm passionate about there for empowering women in industry as well.
Well, to the questions that are off script, what's the most interesting interview you've done?
Oh, wow. Oh, I don't know if I can answer that. That's really hard, but I'll tell you that Steve Hernandez, who is the WaterWise Pro, he has his own podcast, but he is a water operator.
Okay.
And I think it's fascinating how he uses that to help other people level up. And so the certification program that he's a trainer, to get people certified is really cool. But I will say that when you think about your favorite manufacturing story, I have to say it has a little bit of robots involved. And I won't use the brand, but you can look at our list of partners and see which one has robots as part of their industry. But that's the cool stuff. That's the next level for me to see humans interacting with robots, and really, we have a couple of people on our show that talk about that too.
Oh, that's excellent. That's excellent. Now I'm going to move on to Meaghan. Meaghan Ziemba, tell us what's your angle? What's your story? What brought you into this realm?
Yeah, so I've been writing for the sector since 2008 as a technical writer, but right before the pandemic hit, I was tossing this idea around of Mavens of Manufacturing. And when I initially pitched it to a women's group that I belonged to, they turned it down. They said that it was going to discriminate against men who are in the sector. So I just decided to move forward with it on my own, just to showcase and highlight the women from the shop floor all the way up to the C-suite. Manufacturing is made up of so many different personality types and career fields and disciplines. I didn't want to just have a niche area to highlight. I wanted to focus on women who are welding, women who are CNC machining, women who are making big decisions within large companies. I wanted to show everything because right now we have a skills gap. So I wanted to be able to inspire the next generation, and representation matters. If a person doesn't see themselves in the brand narrative, they're not going to think that it's a place for them to be. So I don't look like your typical person within engineering manufacturing as a woman. So I've been told. I have short hair, I have tattoos, and that's something I like to promote. I like to promote authentic selves and just be who you are and be passionate and just, have fun with it. So my angle is really just bringing in women who might not be great at math and science like myself, but they might be good at making large business decisions. And there's a place. It's not just sales and marketing, which used to be, the trend. Women normally were in sales and marketing, but that's not the case anymore. There's a bright future for all of us to be involved.
I think that's really important. In my machining business, Ziki, I would say we have most every demographic and orientation represented, and represented well, not just one person. And it makes a huge difference.
It's important for innovation. So
yeah. All right. So here's your off the script question. So what's the coolest thing you ever made yourself?
I actually made a tugboat from a 3D printer. So when I worked with an additive manufacturing company, they built the large format printers, and I wanted to learn more about the process. So they actually put me through the coding process, and I was able to make a miniature tugboat. It was very small, not very impressive, but it was impressive for me. So that was the most interesting thing I've made.
That is awesome. That is a great story. Good deal. All right, moving on. Fabian, from the EOS additive manufacturer, additive snack, right? Is your podcast?
Correct. Yeah.
Excellent. So talk to us again. I think it's pretty intuitive what your angle is going to be, but talk to us about what you like to talk about and what led you to that.
Yeah, so obviously my angle is additive manufacturing, number one, but number two, probably more importantly, is education around the new technology and what it means for organizations to incorporate 3D printing. If you look at it from a bigger picture, we have manufacturing technologies that have existed for 10,000 years. Like casting, the first casts were found from humans that created that technology 10,000 years ago, and additive manufacturing is 30 years old. So we have a lot of catching up to do when it comes to education, and therefore, yeah, I love to talk to people who have successfully implemented additive manufacturing as a manufacturing technology, from the Siemenses of the world to major automotive makers, all the way into medical device manufacturers who use additive manufacturing as a production technology. Because a lot of people who look into additive, they see the benefits, but they see the risks, and the risks overwhelm, and the risks, yeah, really prohibit the adoption of that technology. And from my perspective, everything that all of you have talked about is so important. And additive manufacturing can and should play a role for everybody who is thinking about, how do I become more competitive? How do I improve my technology? How do I contribute to, yeah, more clean energy, to new ways of mobility, to new ways of aviation? And therefore, I really am trying to find all the advocates and people who have been successful to share their knowledge and experience with the rest of the world.
Yeah, I've been involved in additive manufacturing a long time myself, and one of the things I have learned is not every application is right for additive manufacturing, right?
Yeah.
But when you find it, oh my God, that value proposition is incredible. Whether you're doing things like Venturis or conformal coating, whatever it is, and I think what you're doing to help spread the word so people can identify those applications and opportunities it goes a long way. So when you're not podcasting or working at EOS, what are you doing like outside of work? Hang gliding, parachuting? What's your passion?
Oh man, I wish. I do all bunch of stuff. I just recently moved further out into the country.
Yeah.
So I'm building this big garden, and I will have all the vegetables and possibly ducks and all that kind of fun stuff in my backyard.
Nice.
Yeah, but I also, I live pretty close to Austin, Texas, and I just moved from Germany 4 years ago. So I still love, the southern way of living, and my wife and I go two-stepping probably
Oh, that's cool.
fun.
Yeah, so you're fitting right in.
Yeah, I'm trying to be a German cowboy,
Yeah, I like it. All right, James. I've known James for quite a while, and James founded and runs Industrial Street Marketing, and is sort of he's brought us all together here, and I've been fortunate to be associated as an advisor to Industrial Street Marketing for a number of years. And James, I'd like to let you tell us what IMTS Plus and the Creators Lounge is all about, and sort of bring that home. But also, your story is really inspiring and interesting. And if you could talk about your angle and what led you there, that'd be super.
Yeah, I think just to speak to IMTS, bringing everyone together, I think is part of the angle, right? We want to bring manufacturing together. Literally, that's what's happening. And if you're going to look for a moment in our recent history of where manufacturing came together, I would say the biggest event period, and one of the biggest in the world, definitely North America. That's the place to say, hey, let's come together. And AMT has partnered with Industrial to produce the IMTS Plus Creators Lounge as a destination for creators of original content, people with amazing stories to tell their stories. And we're giving them a platform, treating them almost as if a media channel themselves, so that we can create a community of storytellers. And when you look at IMTS, it's the show. Everyone knows the show, but IMTS Plus is a digital destination for the manufacturing community to listen, to watch, to read, and to connect. And so the big show, the IMTS show, is really now a perpetual show. And IMTS Plus is a place where we're going to give a platform to creators, interviewing them in the Creators Lounge in the South Hall, the big hall there. And we'll have a studio there and a touchdown area, small touchdown area where people can capture stories, and we're interviewing and finding creators. So if you hit the hat, put out your story on social media with hashtag We Are All Creators, and we're going to be looking, and we have a run of show there of interviews, live streaming, literally unapologetically, and promoting people's shows or stories or business. And these are brands like EOS. We have Wade Anderson from Okuma joining, Mitch with Ziki. We've got Charli with Empowering Brands. We've got Fabian with Additive Snack, and EOS and Scott McKenzie with Industrial Talk. And just imagine dozens and dozens of us doing this, coming together and literally having a place now. And AMT had that foresight to do that with us. So what's the angle? I think, Mitch, this is totally a you question to ask. What's your angle? But I think it's true, though. We have to be very honest. So I think we have a purpose-driven angle. Like, we really care about manufacturing. And do you truly, like, by definition, like, look up one of the definitions of industrial is a person engaged in industry. You literally can be an industrial. And I think that's the angle. I have come to learn, I grew up in manufacturing. Literally when I was born, I was whisked off to the Clairol manufacturing plant in Stanford. My father was there 42 years. I worked my way through college on the plant floor. My sister became an industrial engineer. Thomas Publishing was going from print to digital, and I was in the digital age, in the information industry. They wanted people with digital industrial DNA, help them convert it from print to digital, saw a massive problem in the market and created industrial strength marketing. And we work with iconic industrial brands. I was aspiring to be. We produced Manufacturing Day. We work with some of the top global firms, blah, 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 blah. But what is the angle? The angle is to better those who design, make, and move the world. And at the end of the day, we're not going to be counting all the money we made. Like, how did we impact manufacturing? So what's my angle? Is when someone says to me, hey, James, 25% of my business was with this one customer, Great Recession, right? 2008. And then, 5 years later, you guys helped us, build out this precision structural steel fabrication shop. You gave us the bandwidth to do it. So fundamentally, the angle for me, and I think for anyone listening and participating and creating, is that you want to build your influence. So when you talk about an influencer, it's like totally like an ego thing for some folks, but we're just all real creators. And when you build influence, it's because you've had an impact on someone. And so what we're looking to do as influencers, whether it's in life or whether it's in our podcasts or our shows, is to really help people be better. And when you think about the business angle of creation and giving people literally, AMT is like posting all this stuff from all these creators, like crazy. It's so hard to get above all of the voices at a show like IMTS. People are moving and they trust authorities. People trust influencers more than advertising. They trust it. In studies show they trust people just like me. So we empathize with the machinist. We empathize with the young woman who's looking to break into her career and break through the glass ceiling. We empathize with that person that hasn't found their path, and they see it in manufacturing. They like to make things. And so people trust folks just like themselves. They trust it more than a brand. So I believe every business has to be fantastic at the sales and marketing sciences. You have to digitally evolve. And just like you have to evolve the plant, you've got to involve the core functions of how you grow. And innovation, what Drucker says, innovation and marketing are the two distinguishing functions. The rest are costs. So you've got to be innovating. And this is such a great opportunity. So that's the angle. You got to make some money.
And I've been involved with you in ISM enough. I know that you run it as a service-oriented organization, and I've watched you make decisions where you prioritize service and doing the right thing over profits. And I think I commend you for that. I've always felt like in my career, I've never chased money. I felt like if I chased what I was passionate about and did the right thing, the money would just find you. And that's proven to be accurate thus far. So anyway, so we'll wrap it up here. Again, I'm Mitch Free. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me via my company website, zyci.com. It means nothing. Ziki was a 4-letter domain name that I happened to own when I started the business, and I wasn't exactly sure what this business was going to become. So zyci.com. And look forward to seeing you online and hopefully seeing you at IMTS and in the Creators Lounge.